Hello, and welcome to the 4thDown Podcast on a beautiful Friday free agency week. We got a lot of signs here to talk about. We're your hosts for today. I know it's been a while, but my name is Alex.
My name is Mickey.
And we haven't recorded a podcast in the Super Bowl. I mean, we figured nothing really going to happen. Well, nothing really was going to happen. But until then, a lot happened during free agency this week. A lot of signs, trades, etc. And we're going to recap some of the biggest names out there, some of the most notable quarterbacks, some of the notable trades, some impactful signings, which, we believe that could help their team. And a little bit later on in the show, we're going to talk about Aaron Rodgers and the Jets, how that situation is going on. And I have a trade idea for what I think could be right for both teams or what could be wrong. So, again, it's been a wild week. A lot of quarterbacks on the move, a lot of big-name quarterbacks, and some yet to be determined. Hopefully that'll end this weekend. But so far, these are some of the top quarterbacks. We got Jimmy Garoppolo, which I think was one of the more interesting signings. Signed a 3-year deal worth $67.5 million to the Las Vegas Raiders. I really intentionally thought the Raiders were going to go after Lamar Jackson at first, but they went with Jimmy G, like a little bit safer route, because he can win in games. He can pretty much be a bridge quarterback. He can help you get there, as we saw with him in San Francisco. Also, too, Derek Carr signed a 4-year, $150 million deal with the Saints. Not a bad signing. Las Vegas kind of gave him the boot. Gave him a little disrespectfulness on the way out, but in a now kind of terrible NFC South, Derek Carr and the Saints could be winners. Baker Mayfield, 1-year deal worth $8.5 million to the Bucks. And Daniel Jones with a contract that I never expected he should be making, but here we are, 4 years worth $160 million with the Giants. And here's some of the most notable quarterback names. Which of these 4 quarterbacks that I read off do you think was the most surprising signing based on those 4 I just read?
I would say definitely Daniel Jones. I'm not surprised that they re-signed him, but I'm surprised with how much his contract was. That's a lot of money for... He's not a bad quarterback by any means, but he's definitely not one of the top tier guys.
Yeah, and I agree. And someone in the comments can correct me on this. I think it's $80 million max guaranteed, which, and he did have his best season yet. Obviously, Brian Daboll helped in his first year as a head coach for the Giants, but yeah, Daniel Jones. I'm happy for the man. He got paid, and with that kind of money, they only tagged Saquon Barkley, franchise tagged them. So I think that could maybe hurt him in the long run because they might not get Saquon to his contract he wants, but who knows? I'm going to go back to what I said. Jimmy G to the Raiders is definitely an interesting signing for me. I definitely would have thought the Raiders would push for Lamar Jackson or at least Aaron Rodgers. Especially Lamar Jackson, because I think, with Lamar Jackson and his ability to, escape the pocket, and also, too, he won an MVP, and he's in his prime as well, I think the Raiders should have went for him, and especially in a tough AFC West, because, you got Mahomes, Herbert, and Wilson, and some of the best offenses in the NFL with those couple teams. I definitely was surprised that they signed Jimmy G. He's not a bad quarterback to me. He went to a Super Bowl with the Niners, went to a couple NFC Championship games. I mean, we'll see. I mean, I think they want to go for more of a safe route because the quarterbacks that are, won a lot are either, 39 years old or they don't want to give up a whole lot, like the Lamar Jackson situation, because they're asking for 2 first-round picks. So I think they just want to go for a little safer route.
Yeah, and I agree with that. And when you have a mobile quarterback like Lamar Jackson, you always have to worry about injuries as well and the longevity of, and with a quarterback position, you want someone who's going to be able to be there consistently.
And I agree too. And again, I made a post today in the 4thDown. If I was a betting man, I would say the Colts, because now the Colts are desperate. They cut Matt Ryan. They desperately need a quarterback, and I think, with the draft, the Texans and Panthers, they're going to take your quarterbacks. Who's going to be the third quarterback available for the Colts? They might think about that or give Lamar Jackson a shot. So we'll see. The Baker. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I will say my favorite QB move was Derek Carr to the Saints. I'm excited to see how that plays out.
I was going to agree with you with the Derek Carr sign because, it's a fresh start for him. You got some great weapons. They brought back Michael Thomas for a year. And, they have some good weapons. Juwan Johnson came back, I believe. They have Alvin Kamara's in the backfield, too. And definitely a very underrated Saints defense. So I am excited to see Derek Carr play. He has a fresh head start, too. And with Dennis Allen as a coach, I think he'll be fine. The quarterback I'm excited to see, too. Baker Mayfield with the Bucs. I was very surprised when they signed Baker Mayfield because two things. I thought he was going to stay in LA. There's rumors that they want to trade Matthew Stafford. Don't know how true that is. But I thought Baker looked good for his time in LA. I thought he was going to stay and develop under Sean McVay, but I understand he wants to start right away and prove doubters wrong. Then the Bucs are a great team. Got Mike Evans. They extended Levante David, Jamel Dean. They extended a bunch of their big defensive guys that can help out. And like I said, you got Mike Evans. They might need to address the running back position because they released Leonard Fournette and a little bit of tight end position because they released Cameron Brate. But again, I think Baker Mayfield to the Bucs is going to be a great for him, especially in that NFC South, which it can be anybody's game. Anybody can win that. So I'm excited to see how he plays.
I think so too. I definitely think people can and they have said a lot about Baker, but I definitely think he's better than people think that he is. But he's also one of those guys that it's very much depends on the people around him how he's going to perform.
Not true, and we'll just see how it goes. We'll see how whenever September hits, we'll see how it goes. Not to some of the very notable trades around the league. This is not finalized yet, but we'll talk about it later in the show. Aaron Rodgers Jets. Aaron Rodgers confirmed he's going to Jets. We also got Stephon Gilmore, believed for a 5th-round pick to the Cowboys. Jonnu Smith from the Patriots got traded to the Falcons. I like that one a lot. I think with development of Kyle Pitts, bringing in a veteran can help him too. And Jonnu Smith, with the time with the Titans, he was a stud. Didn't really have a whole lot of highlights with the Patriots, but I am excited for that. Darren Waller to Giants, a lot of people like too. Daniel Jones finally got that security blanket, reliable tight end. And Jalen Ramsey to Dolphins, probably the biggest trade outside the Rodgers one. Which one do you think was the best for their team? Which trade? Because I probably might have to go with Ramsey to the Dolphins. Because you're pairing him with Xavier Howard. I know I said about liking the Jonnu Smith trade, but Jalen Ramsey with the Dolphins in an already seemed like stacked AFC East. And this might be, coming back to bite us because we said about the AFC West last season. So, not saying AFC is going to be the best division of football. Everyone might go 6-11 now. But with Ramsey and Howard in that defense, Miami just went from being that playoff team. And it depends how Tua can leave them. They could be a legit threat in the AFC.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. Boosting that Dolphins defense, and they have a solid team built around them, and I think adding Jalen Ramsey was definitely very impactful. I also think Darren Waller to the Giants is going to be interesting to see how that plays out, because the Giants did very well last year, and I'm excited to see how they do this year, especially with a weapon like that.
Yeah, and they didn't really have a whole lot of passing attack. They kind of relied on, they have Darius Slayton and Isaiah Hodgkins, but now you have Darren Waller, and Darren Waller's a big dude. He's an athlete, so that's gonna help Daniel Jones a lot, especially in those one-on-one coverages if Darren Waller gets in them, and also help Saquon Barkley out, so you don't have to run him to the ground. he's amazing. Barkley's amazing, but you don't have to rely on Saquon Barkley every play.
Yeah, well, he is amazing, but if you have to one amazing guy that you have to use 80% of the time, that's not a good team.
Yeah, so I like the Darren Waller thing too. I kind of expressed to John Smith. Stephon Gilmore to the Cowboys. I like it. I get why they went after Gilmore to help Trevon Diggs. Like, I would have been more excited if this was like 2020 and you just draft or got Stephon Gilmore. He's still a great athlete, but not like 2019. And that's the problem with like some of these corners. They play like a couple great seasons and have like that 1 year. But I think it's a great trade for the Cowboys, especially like, giving up only a 5th round pick. So, yeah, that's pretty much some of the notable trades around the league. Nothing too crazy. Now, I did come up with like a little bit of a list as we move on to the next section. These are some players I think can make a big impact for teams. I mean, listen, a lot happened during the week for free agency. And if we talk about every player that got signed, we'll be here for 2 hours. Like,
yeah.
So, I came down to a couple of players. Orlando Brown Jr. signing with the Bengals is going to help that Bengals team tremendously. Everyone likes talking about that hit on Mahomes that cost Bengals season. But don't forget, the Bengals had a game-winning drive attempt, and his offensive line failed him. Last 2 seasons, they couldn't get the job done because offensive line. Orlando Brown, a Pro Bowl left tackle, can definitely help him out. Patrick Peterson on the Steelers. I know a lot of Steelers fans are complaining about he's 32 years old, he's old for a cornerback, but bring that veteran leadership in, and I think Patrick Peterson will play fine for his age. I think that can help out a lot. So, yes. And then Ben Powers, guard for the Broncos, signed a 4-year deal worth $52 million. I like the Broncos offseason so far, addressing that offensive line position. Him and McGlinchey will definitely add some protection to Russell Wilson. So, yeah, those are some of my impactful signings. And, yeah, like I said, Lamar, would you want to add on something?
No, I was just going to say, it's always interesting to see what type of or what position the teams go after. And sometimes they seem to go after exactly what they need, and sometimes they go after what they go after surprises you.
True. I will say, though, and I could be wrong, too, I've never seen an offseason or free agency where linemen got paid like they did. Like, Ben Powers got paid $52 million. Mike McGlinchey got paid $88 million.
Well, and again, I mean, I've had this conversation with you before, but that is such an important position.
Oh, yeah, they make or break every play. They are the reason why you can drive down the field. They're the reason why you score. Because you need to have protection up front. But, yeah, they're finally getting the recognition, and they're getting paid. So yeah, we've recapped a lot of free agency signings. Let's move on to one of the top stories of the offseason, the Aaron Rodgers trade. That has yet to happen, but it will happen one day, sometime. Don't know when. It might happen tomorrow. It might happen 2 days down the road. It might happen on a random Saturday in 2048. But this trade will finally be done. But it is confirmed by Aaron Rodgers after his darkness retreat, after smoking the ayahuasca, he's going to be a New York Jet.
Actually, he said he was sober in his darkness retreat.
After the darkness retreat. But he is going to be a New York Jet. Now, I know I don't mean to get all Packer fan because everyone knows I'm a Packer fan. It's a move that I expected to happen since the 2021 NFC Championship game against the Bucs. I expected this to happen sooner. I expected this, like after that loss to the Bucs, you could tell like he was getting aggravated with the front office, and you could tell like the front office kind of wanted to move on. And it's bittersweet, but it's exciting for both parties. Aaron gets a fresh start in New York. We get to see what Jordan Love does. But back to the main topic of this topic is Aaron Rodgers to the Jets. Now, I made a trade package, or however you like to call it, a trade prediction for Aaron Rodgers to the Jets. Now, this could happen draft night. I expect this deal to happen 2 weeks before the draft, because they still have to figure out a lot of things, which I agree. I don't think Green Bay is going to just ship Rodgers for a 5th-round pick, because when you talk about this trade, you're trading him based on his legacy in Green Bay. I think the front office will feel disrespectful if they traded him after what all he did for like a 5th-round pick. But I understand. He is 39 years old. So, if I were in the Packers and Jets' shoes, the Jets, I will trade. This is Green Bay giving to the Jets. I will give Aaron Rodgers a 2024 3rd-round pick. Now, what do the Packers get? Give me a 1st-round pick of this year, a 2024 2nd-round pick, and wide receiver Corey Davis. Corey Davis played well in Tennessee. I mean, he has lows as a Jet, but you give Jordan Love another weapon, and I think it's fair. Don't you agree?
Why would the Packers give the Jets a pick?
Kind of balance it out.
Okay. Well, you could do that, or you could get rid of that pick and have a 1st-round pick this year, Corey Davis, and a conditional if Rodgers plays a 2nd year.
And see, that's what it's going to come out to. How long, like you mentioned, how long is Aaron Rodgers going to play?
Because if I'm the Jets, I obviously want Aaron Rodgers, but if he's only going to play for 1 year, I don't want to give up my future.
Right.
And 2 picks isn't gonna make or break you, but that could definitely impact you if you're gonna need a quarterback.
This is pretty much essentially like he plays 2 years.
Yeah.
2-3 years.
Well, I think if you're gonna set it up I think having a conditional pick next year if he plays for a 2nd year is I would agree to that trade, but I don't know how I would feel if he only played 1 year.
Because a lot of reports are saying the Packers want multiple 1st-round picks, which that's false. Which I don't think they're going to get multiple 1st-round picks. Now, if you were to trade him last year, after coming off back-to-back MVPs, then I think we would have got that. Because, as we look at his stats from last year, Aaron Rodgers had 3,695 passing yards. That's his lowest since 2015 as a full season starting. 26 touchdowns, his lowest since 2019. And he threw 11 interceptions, his highest since 2010. You look at those stats, and if you're trading for Rodgers, you're like, ooh, I don't want to give up too much because I can't tell if this guy still has got it or not. But if you compare to the MVP season, 37 touchdowns, 4 picks, I'm going to give him a 1st-round pick or 2.
Yeah, I definitely would not. I would give up this year's 1st-round pick, and I wouldn't even be opposed to giving up next year's 1st-round pick on the condition that he played a 2nd year. But if I don't know that he's going to stay on my team, how much do I really want to give up?
True. And that's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
But we finally got a decision.
Mostly.
85% sure. But
yeah. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out and when they finally come to a consensus.
Yeah, but we've been talking and we're like, when's he going to make a decision? He's taking a sweet old time. It's like the Pedro Pascal meme with Nicolas Cage. I can't sing it because I guess that'd technically be copyright if I sang a song, but everyone knows that meme by now.
Yeah, I don't know. And like I was telling you, when we were waiting to hear from Mr. Abraham himself, I said, well, I bet it's also the teams trying to figure out an actual trade.
Oh, yeah. They have a lot of stuff to talk about, too. I mean, we'll see though. Like I will. If I had to give a prediction, I think this gets done mid-April. Few weeks for the draft. I think this done mid-April.
You think it's gonna take that long?
With his contract. Mm-hmm. You gotta think about the contract too, because
I mean,
because Green Bay I don't think wants that much dead cap space.
I guess that's true, and I can understand that, but I feel like that kind of hinders both teams to wait that long.
Well, buckle up. We're in for a ride. It's been a fun show, but we got one more topic left. Anything else on Rodgers to the Jets?
No, I don't have anything else on that. Before we go to our last topic, did you want to talk about Lamar Jackson?
Yeah, I do want to talk about Lamar Jackson for a sec. I had it on notes. Along with him, I had Joe Burrow and Jalen Hurts because I do maybe not. I don't know. I expect them to get a long-term deal because if I were an NFL GM, I like to sign on guys like before their last full season on their rookie contracts because it's done. Like, because 3 years, you kind of know, like, hey, this is my guy. Like, Jalen Hurts went to the Super Bowl. Joe Burrow went to the Super Bowl. Okay, those guys I can rely on. I know they have talented teams, but I can rely on those guys.
Yeah, like, there's no... we would be very surprised if they went anywhere else. But it will be interesting to see how their contracts work out because these quarterback contracts have been very interesting.
Yeah, Daniel Jones getting $160 million is not going to help the Eagles and Bengals and Ravens GM.
Yeah.
But Lamar Jackson, real quick. No team yet. Now he is free to talk to other teams, because that went past the deadline for free agency, 4 p.m. Other players can talk to other teams. Why? How come there hasn't been an official, signing yet? And I kind of understand both sides. I get Lamar Jackson wants to be paid. You're an MVP. You're 26 years old. You can you prove you can basically help a franchise out. You can be a franchise guy. He's great. He's talented. But I kind of understand the Ravens' point because the last 2 seasons for Lamar Jackson, they went 8-3. Great, terrific start of season, but got hurt. Didn't play. Do the Ravens want to cough up that much money? If case of a guy gets hurt, like this is not like trying to you gotta look at a realistic value. This is not like some knock or some I'm just saying I hope he stays healthy. I hope he does well. I love Lamar Jackson. I love watching him play. His 2019 season was one of the best seasons of all time by a quarterback. But the last 2 seasons got hurt at the same exact point of the season and did not really play the rest of the way. So they're watching that. They're like, do we really want to pay this guy this much money? Since his last 2 seasons, he got hurt.
Yeah, and a couple other things one, Lamar wants guaranteed money, which I definitely understand because when you're in a position like that, it can go bad very easily. And I understand wanting that, but I understand from a business perspective not wanting to give someone that. Because that eats up a lot of cap space if you end up having a guy who can't play for whatever reason.
Right, and I agree, but
The other thing I want to say is the Ravens have a really good backup quarterback in Tyler Huntley, and I definitely think they can roll with him if Lamar decides to jump out until they figure out what they want to do. So,
do you think Lamar could? Do you think? I forget what I'm trying to say, but no, I agree that Tyler Huntley not bad, and he almost won on the road at Cincinnati in the playoffs. But I think, like I said it on my Instagram post. I think the Colts will jump and get Lamar Jackson. It's too good to be true, and if I'm Lamar Jackson, I've been saying it for the last couple of years, I think Indianapolis is a great spot for a quarterback. You got a great O-line. You got a underrated defense. You got Jonathan Taylor. You got Michael Pittman. You got, these other great receivers. And you're in a terrible division. The AFC South, if Tennessee wasn't hurt, they would have steamrolled that division. Jacksonville just got they're a great team. They're on the rise. Doug Peterson did a terrific job. But Jacksonville got a little lucky with the injury bug for Tennessee. Tannehill got hurt when they were like 7-5. But yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting to see how that plays out, especially with everything going on. I don't know. If I was the Colts, I would definitely go after Lamar Jackson, but I don't know. I'm very curious to see how that plays out for him.
Like, I know you don't want to break the bank and you don't want to, but like, he's 26 years old. The quarterbacks in his draft are probably gonna be like 23. Like, it's a 3-year difference. Like, you have your future for like the next decade.
Yeah, for him, I don't think age is a factor because he is gonna play as long as he's able to, I believe. But I don't know. This isn't like Aaron Rodgers where I'm gonna trade and I might get him for a year.
You're guaranteed Lamar Jackson for a decade.
I wouldn't say a decade, but I would say at least 5 years minimum, probably more.
Yeah, so I mean, we'll just have to wait and see. I mean, like we said too. I personally am a fan of Lamar Jackson game. Just like, I love watching him play. I hope he gets his money. He's earned his money. He's won an MVP. He's going to be in this prime of his career. I hope the Colts, if I'm a Colts fan, this is a golden opportunity. I get you have maybe, and also too, there's only one quarterback next year, and you're not even guaranteed that pick. There's probably one good quarterback next year draft, maybe 2 more. But if I'm the Colts, I'd go after Lamar Jackson. I'd go for it.
Yeah, because where the Colts stand now, if they wait to draft a quarterback, they're going to get the 3rd pick.
Yeah, so we'll see.
And they might want to roll with that, but it's risky. When you have a guy that you could pay, you're gonna have to pay him, but you would have him and you would know without having to wait for him to develop.
Right. But yeah. So hopefully Lamar Jackson gets paid. Hopefully hopefully the team gets a stud, a quarterback. And yeah, we'll go to our last topic of the day. Boy, it's been a long show, but it's been a fun show. It really has been. Our last topic of the day, winners and losers of free agency so far. It's day 3 of free agency, technically. A lot of teams got their signings. A lot of teams had to say goodbye. Winners and losers. You want to start with your winner?
Yeah, so my winner, I would say the Saints. They got Derek Carr.
They got their guy.
They got Jamal Williams.
They got that. What was it? They got that dog.
And
there's no tears in this mug. I love Jamal.
And you look at the division they're in, I feel like they have a pretty solid chance of doing something. So hopefully they can put all those pieces together. And I'm interested. I'm excited to see how the Saints play.
I didn't think about that too. With Jamal Williams now with Kamara, like that duo can be really good too. I mean, this is a whole different conversation, but like I'm kind of intrigued to see like how much the Lions gave Jamal Williams compared to Saints, but that's a different story. But yeah, Derek Carr with a fresh start of Saints, he got some good weapons. Michael Thomas, Kamara Williams, Jawan Johnson, the tight end, he's not bad. And in a now not so good NFC South, who's gonna win a division? Is it the Saints? Who knows? My winner is Denver Broncos. I do like the Broncos free agency this season so far. I think addressing the offensive line was a major, especially for Russell Wilson, because most times he just got sacked, he got concussion. Getting Ben Powers and Mike McGlinchey helped. Getting those two top guards, tackles. And I think I'm not sure if they got another guy or not, but those two alone just intrigued me because he finally addressed the tackle position. He finally addressed that offensive line help. Protect Russell Wilson. That's my winner, the Denver Broncos.
Yeah. And then an obvious honorable mention is the Bears. They've definitely have done a lot to improve, and they're going to be a force next year.
Yeah, we said before the show, I'm like, I kind of hate to put the Bears because they do have like a lot of money compared to everyone else. So like that's kind of like a given.
Yeah.
So, but
this was it was expected, but they definitely are on it. So I don't want to talk too much about them because it's been talked about a lot, but you got to mention it real quick.
But yeah, especially that trade package because they're now set for a future.
Oh yeah.
All right. You want me to start with my loser?
Yeah.
The losers I got are the Baltimore Ravens. Not because Lamar Jackson. You got rid of Calais Campbell, your veteran defensive end. Ben Powers is gone. The Ravens didn't. I mean, you resigned Geno Stone, but basically the main reason you're about to lose probably your franchise quarterback in Lamar Jackson. And you lost Calais Campbell, a defensive end, a veteran leadership, and you lost Ben Powers. You didn't really lose Lamar Jackson yet, but I feel like you're going to. Because if a deal's not signed now, then I'm afraid. And if you give him a non-exclusive franchise tag, which allows him to talk to other teams, I think that means you lost Lamar Jackson. This was an offseason where you had to extend him. Not even offseason, but this past season, you need to extend him. You need to make sure, hey, give me some guys around me. Because your only reliable receiver at the time, before last season, was Hollywood Brown and Rashad Bateman. And you failed at that. So, the Ravens are losers in my opinion.
So my loser I picked was the Bucks. Obviously Tom Brady retired. Finally. And they lost Leonard Fournette. Now they did sign Baker Mayfield, and I think that was a solid move to sign him to a 1-year deal. But he's not Tom Brady. And they've lost a lot of momentum that they had. So they haven't made a ton of moves, and it'll be interesting to see how they play out with the rest of the offseason.
Right, I mean, they re-signed some other guys like Jamal Dean and Levante David, but on the offensive side of the ball, losing Leonard Fournette was huge. And, especially like, man, I want to go play because of Tom Brady. Now it's like, you want to go there because it's nice weather? But we'll see.
2 other teams in Florida if you do.
But, no, I agree though. It's been an interesting free agency season so far. A lot of money being thrown around.
Yeah, some of these contracts are insane numbers.
Yeah. One last thing before we go. Will there be a quarterback extension from either who gets a quarterback contract extension first, Joe Burrow or Jalen Hurts?
That is an interesting question.
It's been a rumor. Like, I don't know if it's gonna happen this offseason, but they're saying that.
My prediction would be Joe Burrow.
Yeah, I agree with Joe Burrow. Nothing against Jalen Hurts. He's gonna get his money. He's gonna get payday soon, but.
I think they're both gonna get their payday, but Joe Burrow has already come out and said that he would like to stay with the Bengals for his whole career, and that he would be willing to work his contract to keep weapons around him.
Joe Burrow came into like the worst team in the league.
Yeah.
And now they're like the best team in the league.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think he would be, I mean, he definitely deserves to be paid, but I think he would be more willing to negotiate terms Not that Jalen Hurts wouldn't be, but I don't know. It's interesting.
I just thought I'd ask that question real quick because I saw them too. Ismail still waiting to be signed, like, or extended, but I just thought it'd be interesting. You know, Joe Burrow, Jalen Hurts. They mentioned many times, like before the season ends, like these quarterbacks are due for contract, not this season, but next season. So like,
yeah, I think Joe Burrows will be signed before
it's
Jalen
not gonna.
Hurts.
Yeah,
but
it's not gonna happen like anytime soon. It's probably gonna be done like maybe August.
yeah, I think it'll be done in the fall, but I don't know. It'll be definitely interesting to see how those contracts are figured out too.
Wow, that was our first show in about a month, in a week.
Yeah.
And I think that was pretty good. We had a lot to talk about. And now we say goodbye for now. We will be back on the 4thDown Podcast Monday.
Monday?
Yeah, Monday. Don't know what we're gonna talk about yet, but maybe we can think of some topics. Maybe
We'll figure something out.
yeah. But anyways, thank you for listening to the 4thDown Podcast. We're your host for today. My name is Alex.
My name is Mickey.
And we will see you guys Monday. Have a great rest of your day.